Wow, I cannot believe that the Switch 2 is finally here. Like, it's just really awesome. I've been really, like, waiting for this, and it's just really awesome to see that it's now out. And just some of the ideas that have been came up with for this thing is just also really awesome. I really hope that this console is successful, and that's what we're really going to talk about today. So first, I would really like to give a shout out to my 16 subscribers. Yes, this channel is really small right now, but that's because we just started and we are planning on making this bigger, better, and more popular by playing some video games. Now, unfortunately, I haven't gotten my capture card yet, but it should be arriving soon. So hopefully by then we'll start playing some games and showing some footage of the Switch 2. So basically what we were going to talk about, like I said, was kind of just like thoughts and like if the console will be really successful, and I think we should just get into that right away. So I was really iffy on some things like the prices and like some of the ways like the stuff worked. Like for prices, I really thought that like 450 was kind of an exaggeration, even though they were like some really new things. Like some of the games can run up to 120 FPS, and like the gigabyte storage is not as, or it's way more than what it originally was for the first Switch. And like for games, I feel like mouse control is cool, but like also something about it just seems weird, and I hope that that's not a problem, because like what if you're playing a game and you accidentally like slip your hand and like you go into mouse control, like that could cause problems, I feel like. And I feel like Nintendo could get into trouble with that, and like they'd get a bunch of people to like not like them. I do think that the games, like the newer ones like Mario Kart World and the Donkey Kong Bonanza game, are going to be really fun to play. And I also kind of just wanted to share my thoughts on Mario Kart World, maybe like some of them, Donkey Kong Bonanza. So I feel like Mario Kart World is kind of cool because instead of it being like you just like drive through the tracks, this time you have to like drive yourself through the track or like between the tracks instead of just like teleporting to the next track. And I also kind of like that you can drive virtually everywhere, and like there's the missions and there's, like I just said, like free roam. I feel like the idea is cool, and like I feel like they made the game honestly like really like better. I can't even really fully describe it. Like when you grab an item like a banana or a shell, like it's now behind you, and like you don't have to like get it ready if you're trying to block a red shell or something like that. Like it automatically blocks it for you, which I think is really helpful. And then there's also stuff like these new items, or like the power up things. I don't remember what they're called, but like they make you transform into like different versions of your character, which I think is kind of cool. But like some of these items, like even the question block that you have to like jump up to, is really awesome. And I'm just like, I'm really excited for all these new things, and I can't wait to try them out this weekend when I start playing. So I've never really been too much of a Donkey Kong video game type guy. I will say though, I have played Donkey Kong Country Returns. Like that's my absolute favorite, especially when they did the remastered version on the Switch, even though it was a little bit altered and they changed a couple things. But I feel like this new Donkey Kong Bonanza game, it kind of reminds me of Bowser's Fury, because when I watched some of the gameplay of it, I feel like it had like a similar vibe. It's like open world, and you're going across like different parts of the map and like doing all these missions. It kind of looks like it's similar to Bowser's Fury. I don't know if you guys get that same feeling or not, but that's just what I feel about the Donkey Kong game. And I will say I am gonna get it, so I'm excited for that one to come out in July. So now I would kind of like to talk about some of the accessories and like the newer features to the Switch 2. So first off, I kind of want to start with the kickstand, or like the stand that they made. I really think that this is a really great upgrade from the original, not like the OLED or the Lite, but like the first Switch. Because if you guys remember, the first Switch, it was really not a good thing, because a lot of people had this issue where the whole thing was just like snapping, like as a matter of fact mine did, and I couldn't get it back on properly. So that was something I never really liked. Something I also kind of noticed about this that I like is just like the FPS is so much better, like I kind of explained a minute ago. Like it looks like the gameplay will be so much smoother, and I love that. And like the quality of like the video and the pictures look so much nicer and like cleaner. It's not so it's not as pixelated when you zoom up into like the picture. So that's also really nice. Something else that I also kind of like is that it comes with more storage additionally. Because the first Switch, like, immediately after you get, like, a few softwares, it immediately says, oh, there's no more space. I consider that you buy an SD card. And the thing about that is that those cost money, so I feel like they kind of got us covered with the extra storage. Because, like, now we can download extra softwares, and it'll take a minute for everything to, like, to be completely built up and, like, no more space is available. So that'll be really awesome, and I'm really glad for that. So one other thing I really want to talk about in this category is kind of just, like, how there's, like, another seaport. Like, this is a problem I had when I would play in, like, tabletop mode, is as they call it. I would always have low battery on my Switch, and I'd be like, oh no, how do I charge it if, like, it's, like, being blocked by, like, the table or wherever I'm, like, using my Switch. And I feel like this completely solves it, and now I can just put a C cord on top of the other port, and it will charge, and nothing will be bad, or, like, everything will be fine. But something I also did kind of want to say is, like, what if you're using the camera? Like, what if you're playing with someone, even though it's not that big of a deal? Like, what about those people who always use the camera? I feel like that's going to be a really big problem. Although it's not really a big problem anyways. So, yeah, I feel like the camera is really cool, but the extra C port will also be really smart for charging when you're in tabletop mode. So now that I've kind of talked about a lot of, like, the basic, or, like, I guess not really the basic, but, like, a lot of, like, the main stuff about the Switch 2, I feel like there's not much, but something I also did kind of want to point out that Nintendo seemed to do was they kind of seemed to say that the Switch sucked, like, the original Switch sucked. They were sitting there saying that, like, oh, this doesn't have as much storage, and it wasn't as good, you know. Our kickstand for the first one was not as good. Like, I feel like they were kind of just, like, trying, not, like, verbally saying it, but, like, kind of, like, in code saying, oh, our Switch sucked, and this is, like, a new one because it sucked, you know. Even though I feel like not that many people would say something like that. Okay, so I feel like this kind of does wrap up what I was going to talk about for the video. Like I said, there wasn't really much to talk about after we talked about the console and the games. So, I really do appreciate you guys for watching this video. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. If not, please do, because it would really help, and I'd appreciate it super much. Once again, thank you so much for watching my video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to me. That'll really help, and I'm honestly just going to say it, that'll probably make more videos pop up on here. But yeah, thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.